Hey, Stephanie.
Hello. Oh,
I love
nice
that background.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
How are y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. How are
Good.
you?
I'm here. It was one of those Mondays.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
Well, hopefully you'll have fun here.
Yes.
Yeah, I had to take my daughter to the pediatrician this morning. She had a cough, so.
Oh, not anything serious, just as it's.
Yeah, no, it was fine. Like they were
Okay.
testing for like RSV and stuff like
Yeah.
that because that goes around her daycare
Yeah.
right now. So
No, I had a friend, pneumonia was going around and their kid got it. So I get it, man. Hopefully my son doesn't get us sick. So far, so good.
Yeah. Yeah. How old is your kid?
He's 9.
Okay.
nice.
Yeah.
And he was with you at Comic-Con, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. That's very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, he usually goes, if it's close, that wasn't close, but we got to kill 2 birds with 1 stone and take him to Mario World or Nintendo World or whatever. So
nice.
it worked out. Yeah.
Very cool.
How was that? That seems really cool to go to.
It was fine.
That was my reaction. I went last year and I felt the same way.
Yeah.
Pretty underwhelming.
Very underwhelming. I would have been pissed if we would have had to stand in line. We went like the moment it opened, so we were good, but I would have been very angry.
Yeah. I was super hyped to go to it last year.
Mm-hmm.
Got my tickets and it was like really small.
Yes, very small.
I was like, oh, this isn't really like Nintendo World. This is like a Nintendo like area. Like it's super small.
I'm hoping the one that's in Florida, where we live closer to that one, like it's an 8-hour drive, will be bigger because it's supposed to be part of like Universal Epic or whatever they got going on. So we'll see.
Yeah. I saw that they're building Donkey Kong World in Japan.
Yes. Son saw that too. He still wants to go to Japan. I'm like, you'll be going by yourself. I'm not taking that flight. No, I refuse. But I'm ready to get started whenever you guys are.
Yeah. We're just our other co-host is gonna hop on. He just pulled in at the driveway. So
okay, yes.
Excuse him. But
no,
yeah.
No, he's good.
Thank you for coming. Where are you based out of again?
Charlotte. So I'm on the East Coast.
Nice.
And I almost forgot. So I was like, damn, I was doing math all wrong. I was like 12 o'clock at night to record, but it's 3 hours. I added an extra 3 into it.
No, it's all good. Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you for coming on. And
of course.
We'll get right into it. Welcome to Comics and Chronic, everyone. I am one of your hosts, Jake FH. Joining me always is Anthony Iannaccio and soon Cody Cannon. Today we have a very special guest. She is the writer of such comics as My Little Pony, Maritime Mysteries, Strange and Unsung All-Stars of the DC Multiverse, Living Heroes, Nubia and the Amazons, as well as Nubia, Queen of the Amazons, Marvel Voices Legacy, and lots more.
Yeah,
please welcome to the show. Please welcome to the show, Stephanie Williams.
Welcome.
Hey, y'all.
Hello. Yeah, you have quite the resume.
It is so much. I feel like a little squirrel just trying to like collect as much as I can. Well, and the reason for that too is like I don't have any ongoings yet. I don't want to give anything away, but because I don't have any ongoings, like it's whatever is available, then I'm trying to do it.
What would be like your dream to write for, or
my dream to write for?
Yeah, like which character or which publication, or would it be something that you've created originally?
Well, it is actually something I created originally that will possibly be that ongoing. Nice. I think that announcement will come later this year. But if it had to be like between Marvel and DC, it would probably be DC, and it would be Mr. Miracle and Big Barda.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
You guys.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes.
Very cool. So did you read the Tom King, Mitch Gerard's Mr. Miracle book?
I did. I thought it was good. My favorite Mr. Miracle, and Big Barda is of course Jack Kirby, like that initial run of it, just because I don't know, like it's just so good and more romance than I was expecting.
Nice.
But when you read a lot of Jack Kirby's work, there's way more romance than you would think would be there. But it's like, Kirby loved a little romance.
Little romance is good in comics.
Yeah.
Hey, Cody.
Yeah. Cody, what's up?
Oh, I love those headphones.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm so excited to talk.
Stephanie, are you currently high or?
I am.
Nice.
Hey, nice.
So that's why I was like, it's 9 here. So y'all got like 50 minutes with me. I'm just
that's
I'm going to
all we
lay
need.
down.
Yeah.
Trust me, we've gotten sleepy while recording ourselves. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Cody has fallen asleep.
Yeah,
That's nice.
I mean, not regularly. It's
not with a guest on.
Yeah, never with a guest. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Nice. So you lean more DC than Marvel when it comes to reading, writing, or both?
I don't even want to say that there's more of a lean. If anything, it's funny because reading wise, it was a lot of Marvel, but also like a ton of DC. I guess maybe it was like a, I don't know, 55-45 split. Ooh, I can do math when I'm high. So it was something like that. But these days, it seems as though I've done a little bit more substantial work anyway with DC. So it's been, because DC, that Strange and Unsung book, like I spent the entire summer with DC Comics. They sent me like this little mini hard drive full of all the comics from beginning to, I think, like 2016.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So like everything was on there.
That's so
And I was like,
awesome.
I hope y'all don't want this back because I'm not sending it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's like a
actually.
great
Yeah.
Yes.
That was really cool because I thought I was gonna have to like give my computer very disgusting viruses trying to like track down books because you can't find everything
Right.
like
No.
legally.
No,
Yeah.
so true.
Yeah.
So how was it? Like, how was the task of writing an encyclopedia compared to like just writing a story?
Oh, I love the encyclopedia. I don't want to say like you turn your brain off because that's absolutely not what happens, but you get to spend a lot of time with the material as far as just reading other people's work, which of course I enjoyed. And then also it was just kind of cool to summarize those stories the best way that I could, which kind of reminded me of my past day job as a research scientist. I was like, oh, I'm using those skills to kind of explain something that is not nuclear science, but like, you know, explain a character in a way that makes people want to go check them out and gives them, you know, maybe a page or two of a condensed history that goes some like 50 years. It's a lot.
Oh yeah.
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 Yeah. I was skimming through it. There were some DC characters that straight up never.
I had never even heard of.
Angle Man.
Yeah, I was the Beard Hunter was one that was like, oh, okay. I don't know what drugs were involved in that, but I think somebody hated like their father-in-law or something like that. Had to be.
Oh, been there.
So, like in all your research and in writing that, who, in your opinion, is the strangest and most unsung all-star of the DC Multiverse?
Ooh.
Damn, that is you got me there. There was the guy, well, it's not even a guy, it's a thing made of like chemicals or whatever. It's like a vat of chemicals that's turned sentient. And it was only born because this scientist didn't believe in proper disposal, which like if you work in a lab, that is something they like heavily, like you have to do that or they're going to come get you. They're going to pick you up and you're going to jail. And this guy just kept putting all of his waste into this one container that happened to be shaped like a man, which is weird. And then it comes to life one day and it kills him. Like it just, no more. It just, and I guess the lesson there is if you work in a lab, then you should do proper disposal. And if you don't, then you're going to die. Some big monster. And he's been to, like he's fought like Nightwing and stuff before, very random. So
Nice.
I think that was the strangest. And then Ragdoll was probably second because there were two of them. And the second one had an even more traumatic story. Like his skin would like break every time he used his joints or something weird like that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
why would you do that to yourself? So, you know.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of DC villains' origins, I feel like, are just
Yeah.
OSHA violations.
So many OSHA. I mean, hell, even a bouncing boy who literally got his powers because he like was not doing he wasn't wearing proper PPE in the lab, which
There you
is
go.
like, okay. I guess health insurance in the DC universe is substantial. Well, that too. Yeah. It depends on where you're at.
So you used to be a scientist before,
electron microscopy. It's a long, weird thing. I didn't even know that electron microscopy was a thing until like I got the job after graduation. I applied for a totally different research job, and the girl whose position I took, she left. Like she literally quit that day. In fact, when I was sitting downstairs, there was a woman who stormed out. Found out later, she was the one who stormed out. And then maybe 2 or 3 months on the job, or maybe actually not even that long, maybe a month on the job, I found out why she stormed out. It's because the boss sucked. I mean, this woman was a conspiracy theorist, so like I was tapped in before it was cool. Like, in fact, like she used to like give me like stacks of papers and shit to read that had all these random like reptilian, all this crap, and like asked me about it the following day. So like one time I didn't read it, and then like it became a whole thing. Now, should I have gone to HR? Yes, I tried to go to HR, and like they did nothing.
HR was in on it too.
Yeah,
I think they were. So like that was my year for my life for 7 years. So I was like steeped in conspiracy theory stuff just to make my workday easy. So I would just read random shit and tell her about it, and I'd be like, "Oh, by the way, like I just put in a PTO request. Could you approve?" I learned how to game the system.
That's awesome. That's a lot of good like wealth of stuff to have for writing though.
Oh, well, now, yeah, it comes in handy. I'm like obsessed with the moon now because I'm like, oh, like, is it this energy thing, a ball of energy that's we've harvested or someone's harvested and like built a contraption around and all this other crazy shit. So, yes.
So how did you transition?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
To comic books.
So after I had my son, I had this moment as, I don't know, but being a parent sometimes does to you, where it's just like, okay, what am I doing in life? And am I really happy doing it? And the answer was no. It was a resounding no before I had him, and then having him just kind of magnified that. I've always wanted to write, but just, life gets in the way and you don't know if you're going to be able to make money or a living doing that. So you just kind of go the safe route. Well, science isn't that safe because grants don't get renewed all the time. So I was like, okay, well, I'm in something and I don't plan on getting my PhD or going to medical school. So maybe I'll just start blogging. So I started blogging and kind of talking about my experiences as a mom early on, just using different, allegories and comparing it to things like, aliens, not that my child was a face hugger or anything, but just thinking of like Ripley and like Terminator with Sarah Connor, like all these things. And people had started reading what I was writing. It was like a very small amount, but someone was reading it. Like it wasn't just going into the void. So I had emailed a author who like I adored her work and told her like, hey, like your writing has inspired me to like do this thing. And she wrote back and was like really encouraging. I was like, okay, so I'll go from podcasting. This is the road that ended up happening because I didn't jump right into writing, but so blogging to podcasting. And then because of podcasting, Missy Knight's Uninformed Afro, where we talked to Black superhero ones. So kind of like this research thing. Same thing as Strange and Unsung, but like be a podcast. When that podcast ended, I ended up actually writing. So I pitched I forgot what the pitch was. I think it was like the evolution of Dora Milaje from comics and movies to Sci-Fi Wire. They loved that. And then after I wrote it, they were like, hey, you want to be a regular contributor? So I started like writing on the job.
Nice.
So I'd be like in between experiments and I'd be like reading about Amanda Waller and like trying to write something before I got off work or after I got off work. And it just kind of blossomed from there. And between the memes on Twitter and eventually figuring out that I can find how to write scripts online, I eventually tried my hand at writing comics. So I did a webcomic called Parenthood Activate with the artist named Sarah Macklin. Living Heroes came soon after with Aaron O'Neill Jones, and the rest is kind of history. In fact, when Marvel reached out to me, it wasn't even because of Living Heroes. It was because of the Best Butts of Marvel from the 90s. The stupid listicle that I wrote for sci-fi because I literally had nothing else to pitch that week. And I was like, well, I mean, if they accept this, then I'll write it. But I didn't expect them to accept it, but they did.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So random.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. That's a cool journey. So, what was the first thing you wrote for Marvel?
It was a 2-page story in Marvel Voices Legacy. It was a Monica Rambeau story. Basically, I did kind of like something that I felt would exist in the world of living heroes. So Monica is at the grocery store with her mom, She-Hulk, and Thor. I think at the time, the running joke was superheroes don't have money. Like, they're broke just like Peter Parker. So I was thinking, like, they get up to the cash register. Monica's mom last minute is like, hey, I got to go get XYZ, as most parents do when you're in line. And they're all freaking out because who's going to pay for this? The money just walked away. And it just kind of worked out. I think the week that came out, I spoke to an editor at DC about writing some Amazons. I didn't know that it was going to be Nubia at the time, but I wrote an 8-page story for them for Wonder Woman Black and Gold 2. And then found out that, oh yeah, like that was like a test run. We want you to like work on Nubia. And I was like, oh, okay, this character who disappeared for a very long time that most people just know as a Black Wonder Woman. Absolutely, I would like to write her. It's not a tall task at all.
Well, you sent us some copies of. I loved Living Heroes. It was so fun. Such a cool take on, like, I don't know. I too am a fan of like romance and the
I can tell from the headphones that.
But yeah, no, I loved it. It was just like very cute and like very grounded. I felt like grounded in reality for basically like it felt like reading a sitcom starring superheroes, like a very traditional like 90s-esque sitcom.
Yeah, like
thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Love the Living Single inspired.
Yeah.
Well, I was high watching Living Single because they had just put it on Hulu, and also rereading the Dark Phoenix saga, or just the Phoenix saga in general. And then I got to the point where Misty Knight, she's roommates with Jean Grey. Jean Grey dies. And I'm like, well, damn, who's going to help her with the other side of the rent? Because it's not like Charles probably did have insurance out on those kids, but he's not giving that money to them, right? So I'm like, where would she live? And then that's just kind of how the idea came. I was like, well, she moved in with Storm, because Storm had a brownstone in Harlem, because Storm has ties to Harlem via her dad. So it just all came together. She-Hulk was already a lawyer, and I was like, well, this is very low-hanging fruit, but this is Max. And She-Hulk and Maxine from the show, like, they have similarities. So it wasn't just the lawyer connection. And then, it just kind of happened, and the Kickstarter was successful, which surprised me, because I was like, this is so niche. Like, who's gonna see this and want it? But people wanted it.
That's awesome.
So did you write this like independently of Marvel? Is that
I did?
Okay.
Yes.
So
and like a lot.
No, sorry. Go ahead, please.
No, I was gonna say, like, a lot of people ask me that just because of the way that it's packaged and the way that it looks, looks like something that Marvel would have just maybe now put on their Marvel Infinity Comics. Right. But no, it was independent of that. I was scared because I was like, oh, they're gonna sue me. They're gonna send me a cease and desist. But I mean, it's a fan comic or whatever, and I didn't have an ISBN for it or anything like that. It was really like how you would treat the zines, whatever, like how you would treat one of those. Okay. So it all worked out. Now I have tried to pitch it formally to Marvel via Infinity Comics, but so far no dice.
That's unfortunate because it's so fun to read.
I know.
I would love to see more of it too.
Yeah, and like y'all own Fox anyway,
right? Yeah, no, that's cool. That would be cool to see.
Yeah,
sure.
Do you feel like there's because we all have a comedy background? Do you feel like there's kind of a stigma in comics when it comes to like making funnier comics? Like I feel like I would love to read more of them, but I feel like publishers don't like them as much.
Which is like weird because then I don't know, like I think of Ryan North, right? The Squirrel Girl, and then also now he's writing Fantastic Four, which is a little bit more serious lean, but the comedy's there. I think so. Or at least maybe for like superhero stuff. But I'm like, they're fucking running around in tights. What's not funny about that?
Yeah.
And like, there's such like when it's done right.
Yeah.
It like I love. We talk often about Matt Faction's run on Hawkeye,
Yes.
or like comedians like Patton Oswalt writing for comics. So
yeah, Minor Threats.
Yeah.
So like I think there is that stigma there. I don't think that that's something that doesn't exist, but it's just so weird because we've seen when it's done right, like it is a huge success.
Right.
Also, like, have they gone to the movies to see anything? They're and not even saying like those are like, very, very funny, but like they obviously want to play into the humor. I'm
Right.
like, what is it? Guardians of the Galaxy is like, we're doing fart jokes.
Right.
So
And Living Heroes, all the characters resonate. Like they feel like, as they would in the comic. They don't feel out of character.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's even better when it's like that. It's not just, you're not just changing things to make it funny. Like you're using, like you're saying, like the Jean Grey, being someone's roommate and dying all the time. It's like, it would be a terrible idea to have her as a roommate now that I think about it, because she's always dying and coming back. So.
Okay. And I'm like, Luke Cage is notoriously frugal. If you sew his air conditioner, he will definitely come steal it back. And like, I like the idea of Sam Wilson kind of being like this elevated himbo. That's the way that I tried to write him.
Honestly, all of the characters were so fun. The relationship between T'Challa and Aurora was so good.
Yeah, because I thought of, so the way that I've always seen them, because I'm not a Storm and T'Challa shipper. I feel like they get together twice a year and like that's good enough. But, but the reason why I felt like they've always felt like that couple that I don't know, like you always thought that they would end up together, but alignment just never happened. And they know that, like they have, respect and love for one another, but they could just never really be together for whatever reason. And I am vindicated in the way that I feel about that, because when I spoke to Christopher Priest at Rose City Comic-Con, he said that exact thing. Well, not verbatim, but that's the way that he like always saw them. And I was like, So now like everybody who's like ready to back somebody because they don't like Storm and T'Challa together. Christopher Priest, one of Black Panther architects, said that's the way that he saw it.
Nice.
That's so awesome.
That's awesome.
So I asked this to a lot of writers that come on the show. Like I don't know why I even said it like that.
It's all right.
Sometimes I forget we're doing a podcast. But like, okay, because you have a research background, when you're writing a character, when you're approaching someone like Nubia or any, IP character, is there a lot of research? Do you read do you try to read as many appearances of the character, or do you go in with whatever knowledge you already have?
I try to read as much as possible, even if I already have the knowledge, because there's always something that you can miss. And for me, it's never like, how can I do this thing but different? No, like I want to find little threads that, other artists and writers try to put into that character, but just either ran out of time or it just wasn't the time to make more of that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just fun. I mean, like for Nubia, for instance, she didn't really have much of a history. So a lot of that reading went into like George Perez's run of Wonder Woman, Greg Rucka, and just trying to get an idea of who the Amazons are. Because if I had a firm understanding of them, then like I could have a firm understanding of Nubia and how she could deviate from Diana, but not in a way that puts them like pitting them against each other, like one's better than the other. Like I really wanted to look like, hey, like this is another woman who came from the sisterhood and why she is just as great as Wonder Woman.
Nice.
I like that.
Yeah.
Also, it's just fun reading all those old comics. It's like unintentionally funny shit that always happens in them too.
Yeah. When was Nubia first published? It was like the 70s or 80s?
Oh, it was the 70s, and it damn sure felt like it too. It's like the story in itself is like really insane because she like just pops up on Themiscyra and it's like, "Hey, I'm here to like beat your ass, Diana." And Diana's like, "Oh, okay." So So like she beats Diana, but like leaves randomly to go back to her island that's in the sky where she is like the only Black woman in this village of other Black men. Nothing weird about that.
Yeah.
And like they're on a floating island, but they still live in huts because of course that makes sense. And she's like lonely and it's just like really sad. When she comes back, so Hippolyta sees this and like is having this recollection that she can't really pull this memory quite yet. And then the following issue, she finally remembers that she also created another baby out of another clay. That was just a little darker. So I don't know where she got that. I don't know where she got it on Themiscyra, but she found it and she made another child. And that child was Nubia, but like maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes after she was, born, Mars comes to kidnap her. So odd. She just took the one child and took the Black child on that. So I don't know what Mars's problem is, but it was a DEI thing. But God, but it takes her. And like wants to raise her as his avatar, and that's why she's sequestered away on this island of men who I don't know what age they are. So like I don't know if this is like people he kidnapped and then brought on this island and was like, here, take care of this baby. I don't know. It's very weird. But that happens, and then she appears again to like fight Diana, and then Diana somehow like tells her like, hey, I'm not your enemy, Mars is, and they fight him. And then Nubia's like, well, thanks, I guess. And then she leaves and we never see her again. It's like that, what is it, Simpsons? What was the name of the dog?
Santa's Little Helper.
You're talking about, yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. That was the dog's name, was Santa's Little Helper.
No, not Santa's Little Helper. It was the cool dog. It was cartoon dog. Well, I forgot his name, but like... Oh, fuck. And he kind of pieces out, but the animation's terrible, so they just lift the feet or whatever. But that's Nubia's history. And then she appears again with like an apostrophe in her name and all kinds of weird stuff.
Do you enjoy writing for her?
I do. I like to say that she is my first character to really sink my teeth into. And I just got so immersed in that world. I'm working on something right now that I'm hoping sees the light of day for DC that involves the Amazons, because I don't know, like that's a side of the DC universe that is often left untouched. And there's like a lot of shit. I mean, Doom's Door, hell is underneath this island. This island they call Paradise Island. Yeah, like Doom's doorway or whatever to the door to Tartarus or whatever. Hades and all, they're all down there. Just there.
That's crazy. I don't know that about the lore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think in where DC's at right now, there's any possibility of seeing Nubia come back?
Absolutely.
Because that one you did came out, that was was that?
It's like 2021.
Oh, a couple years ago. Yeah.
And like she was recently in Josie Campbell's Attack of the Amazons. And like she's been making like random appearances in other works, which is great because that means that folks are thinking of her. And even if she only gets like a panel or a page, it's way better than just nothing.
Yeah, putting her on the back burner for 20 years or whatever.
Which is so weird.
You think Nubia is a character that we could see on the Justice League one day?
Oh, absolutely.
Nice.
That and hopefully like on screen soon. She was just in was it DC that Multiverses video game?
Oh yeah.
Or Warner Brothers Multiverses, which I thought was like pretty cool that they even bothered to do that. So it's looking pretty positive.
Who would you cast as a live action Nubia?
I don't know. For a while, I was saying Kiki Lane, but that's because of the old guard. And what else was she in? That Coming to America 2 movie. She had a random fight scene in that. I was like, oh, that works. But really more so because of the old guard. Lashana Lynch would probably be second. And then third would just be some new actress that we've never met before.
Yeah. Nice. I like that. Yeah, that Coming to America 2 movie was not.
No.
No.
It suddenly became like a really family friendly movie, which like the first one is not. It's like really raunchy and hilarious.
Yeah, I hate it.
I hated it too. I was like,
it's not good.
You shouldn't be able to take your kids to a Coming to America movie.
No. And like, I'm probably going to let my son watch it when he's 10 or 11 because we let him watch White Chicks, which probably wasn't a good idea. What else? Meteor Man, which he watched, which is like a kid-friendly movie, but like there's still stuff in that happens in that you got to explain because it's the 90s.
For sure. Dude, I love Meteor Man.
Yeah, that was a great one.
I didn't know that there were Meteor Man comics. I had no idea.
I didn't.
Yes,
holy shit.
through Marvel. So Meteor Man is a Marvel character.
That's crazy.
Wow. I thought that was just some random ass fucking...
No. It was supposed to be like this big, huge thing. And then I guess it like kind of fell apart. But like, no, Meteor Man was supposed to be like before Blade had his big thing for Marvel in the 90s. Meteor Man was supposed to be that.
Damn.
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I would have never known.
No, I randomly came across that. I was like, oh, well, here we go.
So Meteor Man's gonna pop up in Secret Wars, is what you're saying?
I would love that.
So going back to your encyclopedia that you wrote, how is it seeing a lot of these? Like, I feel like the past few years DC's been giving us all of these runs of characters that nobody really knows about, like Peacemaker getting his own show, Kite Man being such a big part of the Harley show.
Oh yeah.
He has his own cartoon now too.
Yeah.
Oh, does he? I didn't even realize he had his own now.
Kite Man has his own show now.
Damn.
It's cool. But also the funny thing about that is that that book was pitch based because of Peacemaker, and the idea was to get like other characters that were kind of like him that could possibly one day have the same success, and obviously that's what's happening right now with Kite Man. Even Golden Glider is on there with Kite Man, and then you have Creature Commandos, of course. Yeah. James Gunn wrote the foreword for that before any announcements came out, or we didn't even know that he was taking over for the DCU. So it just it was like a happy, lucky accident. And I was like, oh, well, that means that I'm going to be talking about this book for a while because he will be pulling all of the characters that he can from that, which is basically what's been happening for the last, year and a half now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Are you excited for the new DCEU?
Oh, yeah. If you ask me the same thing about Marvel, it's just, I don't know. Like, I'm going to see the movies, but I'm waiting for something to make me feel the same way I did when I first saw, I don't know, Thor or whatever.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay. Because I'm not saying that the things have been bad, but like it just kind of feels like we get these movies all the time. So,
for sure.
It's just kind of like, oh, well, this is to be expected.
They've become very familiar to the point where they all feel the same.
Except for Craven. I don't know what.
I haven't heard anything good about Craven.
It's not even like edible worthy.
Did you see it? You saw it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it sounds like it's an utter failure.
It is so bad.
I heard it's a big flop, too.
It's pretty. It's awful.
I've seen pictures of the rhino and it looks
and Chameleon. I saw he didn't look good.
Yeah, I saw Chameleon. I saw that clip. I was like,
there's very nightmare fuel. Because like I still haven't made it through Madam Web. I've tried to watch that movie 6 times now, never restarting. I'm just so that Morbius, I
still never watched that.
I've never watched Morbius.
I watched that one. It was terrible.
Morbius saw me. That's how that went. And am I missing one? Is there another movie? Venom is part of this.
I haven't seen the third Venom. I haven't heard. I heard it was whatever, honestly.
It's a lot of shit. I mean, like literally, like it's just
bad.
It's just space gunk everywhere.
Yeah.
It's no. And it's like that's unfortunate because I feel like Venom could be fun. That first movie was decent enough. The second one, they tried things, but it just didn't come together. But Madam Web, so random and unnecessary.
I want to try watching it. I feel like you could turn Madam Web into a drinking game.
You're gonna be sick.
You might die of alcohol.
You're gonna have to pump your stomach. And I hate that too, because like I love a bad, good superhero movie. Fantastic Four, the OG one.
Oh, yeah.
I like
that.
that.
I would love that.
Yeah.
The cast is all insanely attractive. You got freaking Michael Chiklis as the Thing, and his girl, the girlfriends, and like
Jessica Alba, as Invisible Woman.
Yes.
Chris Evans.
Kerry Washington playing a blind woman. It is amazing.
That's right. Why was she blind?
I don't know. It's just like maybe got an actress who was, but sure. And it's actually kind of, I mean, it's terrible, but like watching her like take direction in that movie, you gotta watch it. I think somebody did a Kerry Washington supercut on YouTube from that movie.
It's so funny.
I'm probably having on my way to hell, but it was.
That's great.
What are you working on right now?
What am I? So I'm working on 2 originals right now. One of them I'm almost done with. I'm like 20 pages away from being done. I've only written the first 4 this last issue.
Right.
I'm working on some more My Little Pony. Another thing with IDW that I think you all like specifically really love. I can't say what it is, but like it's really fucking random and so 90s and so cool.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Some stuff with DC, and I don't like some other random stuff I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting about. It's just weird because like I'll pitch things, completely forget that I pitched them because I haven't heard from the editor. And then like, I don't know, 5 months later, it's like, oh, hey, really love this thing. Do you still want to write it? And like, I still have bills. So yes.
When you make your own original comics, do you only release it like via online, or does it also print as well?
Still to be print. So for one of them is through Man Cave Studios. And then the second one, I can't say who it's through, but it's through another publisher.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, because I don't want to like printing and shipping Living Heroes was enough an experience for me. Not that it was terrible, but I could not imagine having to like
do everything.
No. That'd be awful. But people do it every time. And I like, my hats are off to them, especially like at the cons too. Because like I'll do cons by myself, but most of the time I'm with Comic Sketch Art. So they like bring everything. But to everybody who like does cons or just like does everything themselves, like my hats are always off to them because one, you are nuts, but you are nuts that I respect. Is Tony Archie working on that comic?
Yeah, so I have a Super Guy coming out. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I'm looking forward to that. I'm sorry, I just randomly thought about it. Yes.
Yeah. No, it's my first time doing something like that too. So you know, it's a learning experience for me for sure. Yeah. Like I'm just trying not to think about it so much. Like I'm just in my mind, it's just like I have to do it this way, or else there's just no other way to do it. So
that is the way.
I'm just here for the ride. You know.
I love it.
Nice.
I tell anybody if you're gonna make something, just be delusional about it. Like you absolutely have to.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that. That's great advice.
That's good advice. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
It's like, it's a nice way of like go big or go home.
Yeah.
I like that.
What how is it? How do you enjoy writing for these big revered IPs like My Little Pony and Star Trek and stuff like that?
Oh my God, My Little Pony is like scary. Like forget like Marvel DC IP characters. Like no, the ponies. I mean, like you got the kids, you got the adults, you got everybody in between. Like they really know their lore. So like if you don't know anything or you miss something, you're in for a bad time. So and then also with My Little Pony, I'm also getting notes from Hasbro. So that is also kind of interesting. Whenever you're getting like third-party notes, that is time.
Are the notes from Hasbro like, I'm just asking, like, is it more like how they should look, or is it like actual like?
So it's how they should look. Sometimes it's like the way that they're talking. For certain characters, like they have a very specific way that they want them to talk, or like what energy they want them to give. And if you deviate from that in any kind of way, even if it's meant for the story, they're like, no, you need to tweak this. Same thing for like Star Trek too.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, I've got like detailed notes on like a warp drive thing, and I was like, wait, what? I love Star Trek, but like, damn, okay. So a lot of times I just say, all right, and then I just change the thing because I don't know, like I feel like it's your IP, it's not mine. I'm here to like facilitate this story and do what I can within the sandbox. I'm never going to like, unless it's something egregious or like it definitely needs to happen. I'm usually like, okay, well, I'll change the thing.
Yeah.
Just make sure that my check is in my bank account.
I was actually reading. So you have a Sesame Street issue. I was reading it to my daughter earlier. She's only 6 months old, but she was getting a kick out of it. So
yes. So Sesame Street was insane.
Really?
Oh, I bet.
Oh yes, Sesame Street Workshop. Oh, I mean. I said, wow, like, are y'all holding people hostage? Like, what? It was intense. But it was fun to work on.
Nice.
That's great. I didn't even know Sesame Street did comics.
They probably won't be doing them anymore after this, but
that's nuts.
Wait, can you talk more about that, or is that?
Yeah, I want to hear the dark side of Elmo.
Yeah.
No, it was just like the notes. Like Big Bird had to appear a certain way. I like randomly had Big Bird's grandma there because like they're kids, so like adults kind of had to be there. And I think I had her, I don't know, like a character tell her like to bake some cookies or something like that. And they're like, well, she wouldn't bake cookies. She would like bake birdseed cookies. I'm like, okay, so okay. Well, no chocolate chip, birdseed cookies. All right.
Birdseed cookies.
And birdseed smoothies as well. So that was a note. I think I had like I wanted to have Ernie in a different type of t-shirt for his birthday because it's his birthday.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like, no, something else. It can't be that. It was like a lot of just nitpicky, very hyper specific notes. And I was like, okay, well, I think I had Elmo say something about The Rock, you know, like because Elmo has that beef with Rocky, and like no, cannot lean into that. I'm like, like you have this little red puppet with this beef with this Rock, and we see him on Good Morning America. Like, oh, okay. It was insane. I mean, the notes that I got on the DC Strange and Unsung were also insane too, because sometimes I don't know if the folks commenting on it are like really steeped in the comics like that. So like I got a note on one of the scare tactic characters, and this is from the comics, but it's something about them being inspired by Andy Warhol. And like the notes were, is this something that the author made up and is inferring, or like is this something that was really attributed to the character? And I was like, it was. Here is the issue, here's the page, and here's the panel in which it goes in. Yeah, like I had to get like
you had to get the receipts.
Wait, were there any characters that you wanted to include that they were like, yeah,
so many? Like I had a list of 200, and then they had their own list, and like I think they gave me maybe out of my 250 or something like that, and then the most of the other ones are the ones that they wanted to like include. But we were able to sneak in some more, like Itty. I was able to sneak him in, like in the revisions. Rexstar, I was able to sneak him in. It was like a few others that I was able to kind of sneak in, and I don't think anybody paid attention. Well, the right people did not pay attention. So yeah.
Nice.
I also like that, like after talking to you, I can hear like your voice in like the way you were describing these characters. Like one of my favorite ones that I came across was I think it was like the Always Hungry Lad or whatever.
Matter Eater Lad.
Yeah, Matter Eater Lad, where that can eat anything.
What an amazing name.
Yeah, he could just eat anything. And you're like, I think your exact line was something along the lines of like a superpower most people in their 30s would dream of or something like that. And I just thought that was so funny. That was a very clever line. Yeah.
I wanted to try to write that encyclopedia in a way that did not feel like a standard, because like we've all read these book encyclopedias before where it's just like, oh, we're really at the library with this. I wanted to be, just something a little fun. So it wasn't your everyday, just here's this character's wiki page. Because you could literally just look at a wiki for that, which are sometimes, if not often, wrong.
Mm-hmm. And you managed to do it in a concise way too. I'm not like bored reading any of them. It's like,
yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I had to pare it down because some like the dog welder, because he was insane. I'm like, why are you welding dogs to people? And it ends up being like a fucking hero at the end, which is so weird. I think he stopped like a bomb. I think he stopped like something that was a nuclear missile or something that was headed towards Earth, which was like, okay.
How the fuck?
I don't know. And see, this is why, like, when people get into arguments about power scaling and all the other shit in comics, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Whoever the writer is, as Stan Lee once said, whoever the writer is and whatever character is supposed to come out on top, they will figure out how to make them come out on top. Now, how much it makes sense is up for debate, but like you can make a thing happen.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I'd say that's true for every single comic character, except for some reason, Martian Manhunter. Everyone always nerfs him.
That which sucks. Because he does not deserve that.
Agree.
Oh,
he gets nerfed everywhere.
Yeah.
Every time. No, you're right about that.
Nerfed and cucked. He does. He does get cucked a lot.
In the Tom King Human Target, he does.
Human Target, yeah. The Martian cuck hunter.
Cucking going on in DC Comics, period, though. Like,
yeah, exactly. There is a lot of cucking going on in DC Comics.
That's what the C stands
for. Okay, no one is ever going to allow me to write this, but if they did, it would be called the Cuck Crusaders, and it would just be
Crusaders. Oh, that's great. Now you gotta write that. I'll read that.
I know. Listen, if Frank Miller can jokingly pitch a Wonder Woman art book, like just her just straight getting art worded the entire time, they should let me write that.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, Frank Miller's done
That's the 90s.
Yeah.
That part too.
That dude's nuts.
But yeah, so is there what characters when you were young got you super into comics?
Ooh, fucking Mighty Mouse, because he's like
nice. That's a good answer.
Nickelodeon, like, I mean, just superhero wise, but I would have to say whoever I was able to play on like Marvel vs. Capcom. So
nice.
Yeah, that's the one. So Storm, because like I put 2 and 2 together, her, Cyclops, and like Wolverine. I was like, oh, their show comes on Fox, and sometimes I can watch that. Yeah. But like Archie is actually what really got me into reading comics consistently, just because like they were easy to pick up. Like you can get them at the grocery store, and it was like that slice of life before I knew what slice of life was. So, and also it was so much drama in Riverdale.
Always,
messy. Yeah. Riverdale's messy.
Yes. Oh, so it's like not the struggle going on, but entertaining nonetheless.
Do you ever get bogged down by the lore of the comics that you're writing for? Do you feel like sometimes it can be like restrictive towards your creative process when you want to write something?
Oh, absolutely. Because I mean, sometimes you want to do something, even if you have like justification for it, like wanting to take this character in a different route, and it feels like a departure from who they are, but you found some nuggets somewhere where it's like, they could do this. And then like trying to basically support and argue that if it's something that editorial just doesn't feel like is going to fit the grander scheme of what's going on, then like, no, you just can't. A lot of times, like you do have some creative freedoms, but at the end of the day, like there is like a group editor who is trying to keep everything kind of in line as best as possible to make sure that there's consistency. And sometimes like you're just kind of in this box and you got to just do what it is that you've been asked to do. Yeah.
Totally. Nice.
So next time, whoever's listening, you want to fuss at said writer or artist for said thing that pissed you off, there's a very good possibility that order came up, not even from editorial, like high up in the air. Yeah. So, because I'm like, it's a business at the end of the day. Like they got a quota to meet.
Nice. Well, shit. Well, damn. Well, thank you so much for coming on. That was awesome.
Yeah, this has been great.
Yeah.
No, thank y'all so much.
Where can people find you?
You can
social media.
I'm not on Twitter anymore, but you can find old stuff there if you go to @Steph_I_Will. Same thing for Instagram where I'm active. Threads, Blue Sky, I've been more active on. Don't know how long that'll last.
I'm trying to continue to motivate myself, but it's hard.
Yeah, I don't blame you, and I'm trying to encourage it. But if you search Stephanie Williams, I think it's like Steph Williams. BSKY, whatever that is.
Yeah.
You might be able to find me. And then, of course, ystep.com for whenever I remember to update, which is every blue moon.
Nice. Well, Stephanie, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks so much, Stephanie.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Hi, you're listening to Comics and Chronic, and I'm Jake F.H.
I'm Cody Cannon.
And I'm Anthony Iannaccio.
And you can tune in every Thursday to hear new episodes of Comics and Chronic.
And make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter @Comics and Chronic. That's comics, the letter N, Chronic.
We'll see you guys next week.
Woo!
Peace.